Good morning, everybody. My name is Megan. You're watching Miss Megan Knits. Links to everything I talked to you about today will be in the description box below. This is podcast episode 17. So, things are a little crazy at the moment. COVID-19 is a thing now. It's happening. It's real. It's scary. So pretty much everybody is stuck inside, including my whole family. My brother's doing high school from home downstairs as we speak, and my mom is working from home. Which means my dad and I are kind of weirded out because everybody's here. So that's an adjustment for us, you know what I mean? We're home a lot because I do online schooling, so I'm home most of the time. And my classes haven't really changed very much because they're online, so there's no need for them to change. They're already remote. But it's weird having everybody home. We're all stepping on each other's toes. We're all getting in each other's workspaces. I'm, not getting my workout time in as much as I really should be because I used to do that when nobody was home. My dad was taking my brother to school, my mom was on her way to work, I would work out. But now everybody's here and they're in the living room watching the TV, and I feel weird doing Pilates with them all watching. I'm sure I could ask for them to move it, but it just feels awkward, so that's kind of where we're at. I'm kind of feeling being stuck at home, but I'm not really feeling that as much as I'm feeling the social media craze that's going on about it. It's everywhere. Like, you cannot get away from it. It's on Reddit, it's on Instagram, it's on Pinterest, it's on everything. Speaking of which, I, just this morning, made a Miss Megan Knits Pinterest and a Miss Megan Knits Instagram account. You may follow me on both of those if you would so choose, if you use those platforms. I've been having a lot of fun with Pinterest, pinning a bunch of stuff to boards, and I've been having a lot of fun with Instagram, scrolling through everybody else's stuff. I did post one of my FOs there, but you can follow me there. And as always, my Ravelry is 321TIKA. That'll be linked in the description box below. I guess I'll link the Instagram and Pinterest too. And you can email me always, missmeganknits@gmail.com. I actually get those emails now. I was just forgetting to check the inbox forever, so I forwarded it to my phone, so we're good. You can get in touch with me there. That's probably the worst way to get in touch with me, though, because social media is just on my life all the time. But yeah, it's COVID-19 everywhere. And then people are spreading so much misinformation. Like that thing, it gets stuck in your throat and you need to drink essential oils. No, right? And then there's like the thing where it's like, oh, here's how to make your own Lysol with essential oils. It's like, no, people, science, please, like, I don't know, maybe it's because I'm a bio major, but it's like, it's just starting to see so much false information being spread around. It's sad. But, everybody I know and love is safe. I'm adjusting to not being able to see Bear in person. That's a really sad one. He's social distancing with his family, and I'm social distancing with my family, and we're staying in our respective houses, and we're not visiting each other. So that one's kind of hard. I'm used to seeing him 2-3 times a week, and I'm not anymore. We're FaceTiming, so that's really fun. And we started a game of Stardew Valley. I just bought it, and I'm learning how to play it. And we started a co-op farm together. So if you've never played Stardew Valley, it's basically a little farming simulator. And if you play together, it's the two of you, and you're building a cute little farm, and you're harvesting plants, and you're mining for stuff at the blacksmith, and you're fishing, and you're, talking to people, going on adventures, but you're basically farming. It's a farming simulator. So it's really fun. Even though when I first played with him, I didn't know what I was doing. But he kind of helped me a little bit, and then I played on my own to do the tutorials and stuff so I could learn, and that was really fun. So I think that's what we'll be doing later today. I have a FaceTime date later today, so I better hurry this up so I can get to that. Okay, so I think that's enough talk about COVID-19, except for me to say, stay safe, stay isolated if you can. If you have to work, if you're an essential employee, go to work, do the best that you can, be gracious with people. Hopefully people will be gracious with you. Because you're working it hard and putting yourself at risk. I noticed that when I went to the pharmacy to pick up a couple of scripts. It was basically like, it was a madhouse in there, and people were just mean, and the pharmacy people, like the employees, looked so worn out, and it was like, I feel so bad, right? Because they're doing a life-saving function, you know what I mean? I don't know where I'd be without my meds. So it's just so sad that people are not treating them with appropriate respect. So anyway, be nice to each other, be kind to each other, stay safe, stay distant. Now, we're going to talk about some knitting now, because it's been 5 minutes and 19 seconds, and I still have not talked about knitting yet. Although I think we can understand with everything that's going on. But I have a lot of knitting to show today, because I've been isolated, and so that's what I've been doing with myself, because I've also been on spring break. This is spring break for me. Not very fun spring break, but it's spring break, so I have had less schoolwork to do, and so I've had more knitting time. So let's get into it. I have a big box right here, and I've put some FOs in there, so let's take a look. What do I want to talk about first? I have notes, but I'm not really, they're very minimal notes, so most of it's going to be me talking. Gully gloves. Okay, let's dig them out here. I finished them. They've been on several podcast episodes with me, so you probably are tired of hearing all about the applied border and everything like that, but I'm going to talk about them again because I just finished them. These are the Gully Gloves by Kelly McClure. Now on Ravelry, that's what this pattern says. So if you're looking for it on Ravelry, that's where it is. In where I got it from, which was an interweave publication of Quick and Easy Knits, they're called the Welted Mitts. Same designer, so I know it's the same pattern. Also, it's linked on Ravelry to being in this magazine, so they just changed the name of it. This is how I think about the gauge information. So there's the, so you have two versions. You have a version with a thumb hole in the welts, and you have a version with a garter stitch top. Mine have a garter stitch cuff. So if I can find the thumb hole, there it is. They're kind of small, even for me, and I have little chicken wrists, so I'm a little worried about someone else. I'm gonna have to go for like a child's size. They're kind of fun colors for a child though, so that'd be pretty fun. And that's them. So you can fold the cuff over if it was long enough. This one, my gauge came out a little wonky. You can fold the cuff over to have more finger dexterity, or if you want more warmth in your hands, you can fold the cuff back up. Now I used a variety of scraps on this glove, and I'm going to try and run through all of the scraps that I used so that, you know, you'll know if you are interested, but it's a lot, so bear with me. We have Lion Brand Feels Like Butter in brown, Karen 1 pound in aqua. I've been calling it teal, it's aqua. This is, oh, what is this? Peyton's Classic Wool Worsted in pink, and this purple is also Peyton's Classic Wool Worsted in another one. One of them is Natural Heather, one of them is Magnolia Heather. Maybe. I don't know, I'll link it. If you go to my Ravelry page where these gloves are, all the correct information is there. I have Barocco Love It in black. I have a Darn Good Yarn Recycled Silk in Stormy Skies or Stormy Tweed or something. And then I have Karen Simply Soft in Dark Country Blue. And I made them match. I know I was talking about in my first episodes whether I want them to match or whether I want them to be different in terms of where the stripes are. And I decided to make a match because they look kind of funky enough as it is. The needles I used size 6 for the body and size 5 for the cuff because that's what the pattern said to do. Or that's what is that what the pattern says? No, but that's what I've done in the past when I've made these gloves, and they fit better than these fit, so my gauge must have changed since I last made them. And I used the Knitter's Pride Ginger double pointed needle sock set. The needles are a little short for this project, but they work just fine, so I got it accomplished. FO in the bag. Next. Okay, the moment we've all been waiting for since Christmas 2019, when my mom got me this blueprint kit for this project. I've been working on it. I cast on Christmas, and I've been working on it since then, and it's finally done. It's the Berry Pie Shawl by Donna Dracunas. Look at this. I'm trying to, like, it's hard to show it, you know what I mean? Like if I turn it around this way, maybe. Oh no, that's the wrong side. No, that's the right side. Isn't it just like, isn't it? It's so squishy, it's so soft, it's so lightweight and drapey. I am in love with this thing. In love with this thing. I don't even know what to say about it. Well, I do know what to say about it. I used size 4 needles, circulars in various sizes as the shawl grew. It's a pie shawl, so it starts from the center and it works out, and then it has little circles, then it has a more honeycomb mesh, and then it has these diamonds, and then it has the applied border that took forever but looks so good. I kind of lazy blocked it. I didn't want to pin every little point of the shawl out like you're supposed to. So I got it wet and I laid it flat. I washed it with Eucalyptus and then laid it flat and let it dry. And it opened up a lot from what it was. I have pictures on my Ravelry page before and after blocking, and it really loosened up, it draped well. I just can't be happier with it. I've been looking for an occasion to wear it, and I don't have an occasion to wear it. Normally I'd wear these things to church because, you know, that's all the church ladies like, but I've been doing virtual church in my pajamas, so that's not gonna work. Blueprint kit, yes. I got a blueprint kit. Oh, I forgot to mention, I did some math with this shawl because I was bored. I have a low estimate of the number of stitches in this shawl, like the number of actual maneuvers you have to do. 58,007. I don't know where I got the N7, but 58,000 stitches. And it may make sense it took me forever, but you don't really think of it being that many stitches when you're working on it. You just think of, okay, I did a row, I did a row, I did a row, and then, you know, when it gets bigger, I did half a row, I did a quarter of a row. Why isn't this going any faster? But anyway, the yarn I'm using, oh, here's the pattern. I was looking for the pattern, I couldn't find it, it was in the box. So this is it. Berry Pie, Donna Jacunas. This is the blueprint kit. It's stunning. There's also a deep dish version included with the pattern. You don't get the yarn for it, but it's bigger. I can't imagine wanting this to be any bigger though, or take any longer, really. But the pattern is a little confusing, the way Blueprint shortened it, I think. I think it's Blueprint's fault. I'm not blaming the designer, I think I'm blaming Blueprint. Some of the how to start the applied border, how to move from section to section is a little vague, a little confusing. The designer does have a YouTube video on her YouTube channel about how to start the applied border, and as well as several other techniques used in the shawl, how to work with double yarn overs, for example, that's a thing. So that's really helpful if you're stuck on the shawl, but it's really pretty. So the yarn it gave me was Cloudborn Fibers, 100% baby alpaca, fingering weight. Look at the halo on this thing. Can you see that? Holy mother of pearl. It is so soft and squishy, and I just want to hold it. I don't know what I'm going to do with most of a 50 gram skein of this stuff. I'm going to put it in my stash and save it. It might make a cool, like, if I stripe it with like 2 or 3 other 50 gram skeins to make like a pretty striped shawl. Maybe that'd be really pretty. Or it's hand wash, so I wouldn't put socks with it. It would be enough for shorty socks, but it's hand wash only, and I don't hand wash my socks. I have one pair of socks that I hand wash, and I never do, so I never wear them. I don't know. I'll do something with this, though. I'm saving this. This is a wonderful yarn. I liked working with it. It split a little, but not anything I couldn't handle. It wasn't frustrating, the amount it split. It did split, but not... I wasn't getting upset with it, if that makes any sense. Blueprint kit, needles, yarn, pattern. I think I talked about everything, but anyway. Berry Pie Shawl, Donna Jacunas. I just want to, like, I haven't actually put it on yet. I'm gonna put it on for the first time here. Oh, so nice. I need to start wearing my shawls around the house because I've got that Scania shawl that I made a while back. I'll link the Ravelry page so you can see it. It's made of Knit Picks Capretta, which is an MCN merino cashmere nylon, and it's so nice. I have a merino out of, I think it's Malabrigo merino that I made a Girl from the Grocery Store shawl out of. I'll link that one too. That one's really soft. I just gotta start wearing my shawls around the house because otherwise I'll have nowhere to wear them. Let me just fold this up. I don't even know how to wear this though. Like, how do you make it stay on your shoulders? I guess you fold it in half, so let me see. Oh, it's inside out. Oh well. And then it's like half pie shawl, but it's like really thick. You could fold it in quarters, I guess. No, that's not big enough. Berry Pie Shawl, Donna Dracuna's blueprint kit. I don't think they're still selling the kits. I've tried to link to them in previous videos. I think they're sold out and they're not looking like they're restocking. But the pattern is available on Ravelry, which I will also link, and you can get the yarn separate. So, I thought I saw something buzz. My phone's in front of me. I'm recording on it and nothing popped up, so we're good. Okay, my next FO is another thing you've seen on several videos. It's a zebra! A comically cartoonish zebra with a very large head and arms and legs that don't match. Like their legs are short and fat and his arms are long and skinny. But so cute. He sort of sits up on his own. I did the mane more than in the pattern because I wanted a nice thick mane and I had to hook all those in myself, every individual hair. Well, I guess it's every 2 strands gets hooked together because you fold it in half. But anyway, I am in love with the zebra. This is the second pattern I've made out of the book. Cuddly Animals to Crochet 28 Cute Toys to Make in Love. I did make some modifications from the pattern, if I can find the pattern, because I took out my sticky. Why would I do that? Why would I take out my sticky? Oh, wait, no. Hippo, we've gone too far. No, we haven't gone too far. There we go. This is the Agatha the Zebra pattern. Like I said, Cuddly Animals to Crochet, 28 Cute Toys to Make in Love, Lucia Forthman. I talked about this book a lot because I've made a different whip that languished for a while out of this book, and I'm also now making this one. I did make some modifications. For example, the animals in this book are all like huggable sized. They're all like, here's an example. This is one I did at the correct gauge. They're like huggable stuffed animal size. You can see this guy is significantly smaller than my platypus. I should hold the platypus this way. If you've seen my previous videos, you'll understand why. Yeah, that's like a size comparison. But that's because this zebra was supposed to be made out of bulky weight yarn, and the platypus was supposed to be made out of worsted, so I made the platypus correct. This one I substituted a worsted wheat yarn. I used a smaller hook. Let me find the hook. 3mm hook. Is that right? Yes, that's the only crochet project I have here. 3mm hook to knit this so that it's nice and soft and squishy. I just picked this hook because it was 1/2 millimeter larger than the hook I used on the platypus. And the platypus is a little bit stiff, not super squishy, not super cuddly. I'm not super happy with the texture of the platypus at all. So I went up a hook size and it made all the difference. It's still tight enough that the stuffing's not coming out, but it's loose enough that it's squishable and huggable and moldable. I also think I overstuffed the platypus. That was another problem I had. I got kind of overzealous with the stuffing. Wow, look how much stuffing I can fit in there, and it just didn't work out well. Rock hard platypus. I make myself laugh sometimes. As my dad says, you gotta entertain yourself. Because even if no one else laughs, you laughed, and that's good. He has a little tail. Look at his tail. So cute. And I'm really happy with how I did the eyes, how I embroidered the eyelashes and the pupil. I'm really bad at embroidering on my amigurumi. That's something I need to work on, as well as assembling the pieces together. Not crooked. I think I did okay on this one. It worked out better than some of the other amigurumi I've done in the past, but he's still a little crooked. That's what makes him look homemade though, so that's good. The cool thing about this is I used 2 different yarns. I used some leftover scraps of Red Heart Super Saver. So this was already a partial skein. So this didn't use very much yarn at all. Red Heart Super Saver. And then I used a different cake than this one. So you can't judge how much I've used because this is a new one. But this is Bernat Premium. I think it's discontinued, at least the colorway, because I got this at Job Lot for $2 a skein. So but it's this kind of variegated colorway. And they pooled, right? But it pooled differently on each piece because each piece is a different width. So it looks really cool if you look at it. So if you look at the front, you can see it swirls because I'm increasing. And then there's just clumps of color pooled around. And then the arms you can see just kind of didn't pool really. And the front, you could see it went like spiral diagonal, the body. And the legs kind of did alternating stripes, 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 stripes. And then the mane looks very mixed because I kind of pulled the pieces at random and it kind of got all the colors incorporated. I am so happy with it. This is gonna be a craft fair item for sure. This is actually a pretty easy pattern. It took me a little longer because I wasn't really working on it very much, but it wasn't difficult at all. It was just some single crochet, increasing and decreasing and assembling together. That took like a couple hours to assemble it all, but that was it. So this is gonna go on the craft fair table. Hopefully someone will snatch it up. I've been thinking about what to price it at. I'm not really sure how to price my knitted items. I have some general ideas for like basic stuff, but for something like this, I don't really know. I can't charge by the hour because then it'll be way too much. And I can't charge by the stitch because, I don't know, I didn't count the stitches. And then you can't really charge by like the item it is because that'd be too cheap. Like, you can buy a stuffed animal for $2 at the store. And like, I'm not selling this for $2. I worked too hard on it, right? The yarn costs more than that. So it's a toss up. I'm thinking more like, I don't know, 50? Would someone pay $50 for a zebra? That's probably what it's worth in my time. And of course I tell my dad that and he's like, no, you should sell it for 120. And I'm like, I don't think I can get that. I don't think anybody will buy it if I sell it for that much. That might be what I deserve for all my hard work, but that's not what people are gonna buy, right? So you need to kind of balance that. I mean, we'll see by the time the craft fair rolls around. Lord knows when that'll start back up again because, you know, everything's shut down now. So we'll just have to see. This book I'm loving. I'm thinking of if I want to make another animal from it, or I actually have 2 other amigurumi books that I haven't even cracked open yet, so I'll probably pick something from one of those. One of them is Bears and Other Animals that Bear got me for my birthday a wee back in September, and I haven't used it yet. And then another one is Hooked on Amigurumi, where it has little amigurumis that are like weird things, like crustaceans and like food and like miscellaneous objects. But they're really cute and really fun, so I don't know. I have plenty of yarn in my stash for amigurumi because it's all worsted weight acrylic, so I'll be able to whip out lots of cool amigurumis really quickly if I work on them. I do have a whip slot open. If people don't know, I work with 5 whips at a time, no more. Sometimes less, but no more. Because if I have too many whips going, I get really overwhelmed and really stressed. So I don't want to do that. But 5 whips I find is a good number, that I have some variety, I have some, you know, different things to work on, but I'm not overwhelming myself and stressing myself out. Just hurt my pinky. Okay. Okay, now whips. It's been 23 minutes, haven't even gotten whips yet. We're gonna talk about Plarn. See my Plarn video if you want to know anything about Plarn. I explain this every time I do a podcast, and I'm gonna explain it again in briefness because I don't want to take up all your time. But Plarn, I'm making mats for the homeless out of plastic bags, recycling them, making them into mats for the homeless to sleep on. I'm trying to work on it now that I have more time, and also now that people are gonna need it. You know, like if I'm stuck inside, the least I can do is kind of channel my energy to charity crafting. And the Plarn mats are basically my biggest charity craft that I can do and I can really give, and people really have positive feedback from them. So that's something I can do for my church, and that's what we're doing. So let me pull one out. It's biggering. This is the same one I was working on last time. It's definitely much bigger now. I've been adding bags onto it. Mom and I have been cutting up and processing bags, and we've been looping the bags and then stringing them together and then putting them in the Plarn. And so this is kind of the result, and it's gonna get even bigger than this, but not by much actually. This is close to finished size. It's gonna get a little bit bigger, and it's actually folded in half, so it'll be big and 6 feet tall, and you can lay on it and kind of pull it over you like a sleeping bag. I'm not going to unwrap this one because I've got stuff all over my bed. I'm going to knock things over. It's going to be bad. So, flower mat. See my video. I have a sweater on the needles. What? A sweater? Yep, a sweater. But a really quick, really bulky sweater. My mom got me a second blueprint kit for Christmas that I hadn't started until recently, called the Ribbing on the Runway Pullover Kit, and I'll show you the pattern so you can see what it's supposed to look like in a minute once I dig all the stuff out. This kit is from 10 Hours or Less Designs, and I think it would take me 10 hours or less if I wasn't filming the process. What you say? Filming the process? Yes. So I have to wait for good lighting to work. I have to wait for proper timing to work on it. But I am filming the progress of the sweater. Most of it is time-lapse footage, but I'm mixing in some regular speed footage so you can see what I'm doing. And I'm going to put that into a YouTube video and put it on my channel if everything goes well. So that's going to be really fun. Some downsides. It's not taking me 10 hours or less because I'm filming and I have to wait for good lighting, and you know, it might take me 10 hours or less, but it's a little tricky. It's not taking me 10 hours or less because I have never done I-cord bind-offs before, so I had to look that up, and that probably ate into my knitting time. But it came out really good on my sleeve. And also not taking 10 hours or less because, well, maybe 10 hours or less of actual working on it, but I have to take plenty of breaks because the large needles and a large yarn like that aggravates my carpal tunnel more so than small needles and small yarn. So I cannot knit on it for as long. Something that does help are these. You may be like, what's that? It's a wrist brace. So you put it on, wrap it around your wrist. They're meant for like exercise, like weightlifting and stuff. But with this, yeah, and I'm using it for knitting. But what this does is it basically gives you a little bit of support on your wrist. Oops, my bracelet got trapped. Gives you a little bit of support on your wrist so that you can knit longer for more comfortably. If you have carpal tunnel, this isn't going to fix your carpal tunnel, but it'll help manage it and help you knit longer without any pain. As always, when I talk about my carpal tunnel, I have learned how to manage it. And one of the ways I have managed it so it's not constantly bothering me is that I don't knit when it hurts at all. Like, I knit until I feel a little bit of, not even pain, just a little bit of like, ooh, that's kind of uncomfortable, and then I stop. So this sweater is not coming along speedy quick, 2 days in and out kind of thing, but it is coming along in probably in 10 hours or less of actual knitting time. Yeah, that's a thing. It's the first sweater they had in their line, their 10 hours or less line. I think most of their stuff is like hats and stuff that you can knit up in 10 hours or less. And the sweater also has a worsted weight version, by the way. So if you end up really loving the look of this sweater and you don't want to knit a super bulky sweater, you live somewhere where it's hot, or you just don't want like the look of super bulky or whatever, there's a worsted weight version. Obviously that version will take longer than 10 hours. I've been best friends with my row counter during this. I slipped it on some cross grain ribbon. It's a project. I'm not going to give away too much about the pattern, but it really does help to have a nice good row counter that you're counting with. It doesn't mention that in the ingredients? No, in the materials. That's the word I'm looking for. Materials. But it's helpful. And it mentions stitch holders and stitch markers. Both of those have been solved with some scrap yarn. This is some scrap red super bulky yarn, nice and smooth acrylic, that I use for putting stitches on hold, and I also use it for making stitch markers. Just make a little loop, tie a knot, and then boom, stitch marker. You can thread it through stitches like a locking stitch marker, but I do use my locking stitch marker if I need to use those. Because if you're just clipping onto the knitting, it doesn't have to fit over the needle, but my stitch markers are too small to fit over these giant needles. These are size 15s. The pattern calls for size 17, but I didn't get gauge with 17. I got gauge with 15. It's also worth noting I'm knitting the small because my kit only came with 8 balls of yarn, and that's not enough to knit a medium. I think a medium would fit me better. I think I'd be more comfortable in a medium. The small does fit around the bust, and I can make the sleeves as long as I want. The body's a little short. I'm thinking about modifications to fix that. But other than that, you know, like the small fits pretty well, but it doesn't have as much ease as on the model. It doesn't have as much ease as recommended. I don't know, we'll see. Here it is so far. And you see I've done all of this in, like, when did I finish the pie shot? I think I cast this on, when we first were quarantined, I cast this on. So maybe a week ago? And I've been working on other projects at the same time. This isn't my only project. I'm only working on this in the hours where I get nice daylight. Time-lapse footage doesn't record audio, so I'm going to record audio over it for my video, but I don't need to worry about other people being in the same room talking. But the camera in these videos is kind of over my shoulder, angled down at the knitting, so you can see my hands working, and not necessarily in my pajamas, because I put a blanket over my lap to hide my pajama pants. And you can kind of see my shirt, but not my face or anything like that, but it'll be super fun. The sleeve I finished up today. I had to keep trying it on because the pattern said 17 inches, and I tried it on 17 inches and it was like here. And I'm like, that's not gonna work. I want long sleeves. So I just knit longer than that, really. And I don't know how long it is. It's 65 rows. I know that, total, in the whole sleeve. But I don't know how long that is. It's as long as my arm. I saw Grocery Girls that they recently put out where Jody asked Tracy, like, how long is the sleeve? And Tracy's like, it's as long as my arm. That was pretty funny. But it's true, it's as long as my arm. I just kept trying it on, and then I did the I-cord bind off, so it's nice and long sleeve. This is the I-cord bind off. There's I-cord trim on the bottom edge as well. This is an I-cord cast on. Not really an I-cord cast on, you just kind of make an I-cord and then pick up stitches. And then there's this beautiful cable. You can't see it in the picture. I'll show you the picture finally. Megan, where am I? Bad podcaster. There it is. She's wearing small, but her body is a different size than mine. But it has this, she has her arm over it in the photo, but it has this cable going all the way down. It has a cable going sideways, and it has some 2x2 rib in the middle. What I'm thinking of for the bottom edge. Now, I watched a Craftsy class or a blueprint class with Lucy Neatby, saying Fearless Knitting, where I just cut your knitting, and she cut a whole knitting, picked it up, knit some more, grafted it back together. So you could totally make a sweater longer that way, and I was thinking about trying it, to be honest, because this isn't a sweater I spent forever on, you know what I mean? So if I mess it up, it's only so many hours of my life wasted, and not a ton of hours of my life wasted. But then I was thinking, like, this ribbing up here is really cute, and there's no other ribbing in the pattern, because the second sleeve is the same as the first sleeve. I haven't done that yet, but it's the same. So I'm thinking of picking up from the bottom, like folding out the I-cord, right? Picking up from the bottom of the I-cord all the way around, doing some 2x2 ribbing for however long I really can with the yarn I have, and then binding off with an I-cord bind off. So it looks like there's two I-cords with ribbing in the middle, out the bottom. Now that might be really cute. Now I could do stockinette instead of ribbing, but I think the ribbing would be really fun to knit. I'm kind of bored of knitting stockinette. I don't know. I think that's what I might do. I'll have to try it on once I finish the rest of it, because I have to do the neck still. I have to do the sleeve still. I'll see how much yarn I have left, and if I have enough to lengthen it at all. I think I would wear it more if it was longer, so if I don't have enough yarn to lengthen it, what I'll do is I'll either order more from Blueprint and get a slightly different dye lot and just deal with it, or I will use a different color of super bulky yarn. I have some super bulky in like acrylic, but it's a really similar texture to this that I could use in like a blush color, and if I did that, I would put the blush color at the bottom, or black. I have black too. Black or blush at the bottom, and then I just embroider on the sweater somehow to kind of make it all tie in together. I'm not sure exactly what I'd embroider, but I'd have the sweater as a canvas, so I'd be able to kind of doodle on it with my embroidery. I'm again, bad at embroidery, but what a time to learn, right? Super bulky yarn, everything nice and big, duplicate stitch maybe, or maybe just some running stitches along the I-cord or along the sides of the ribbing. maybe do a stitch down the length of the sleeve so it looks like, you know, there's supposed to be like a line running down there and something around the I-cord. I don't know. But I'm hoping I don't have to get to that point. I'm hoping I have enough to lengthen it with gray, because I think a solid color is going to be my best bet, style-wise and wearability-wise. But if not, I'll work it out. But yes. Oh, the yarn. Oop. This one wasn't attached. Here it is. Cloudborne Fibers, Highland Super Washable, Super Bulky in Charcoal Heather. And I forgot to mention this shawl, Autumn Heather. So in Charcoal Heather. And it's really pretty yarn, but it sheds a lot. Like, there's all kinds of fuzzes going absolutely everywhere. And I'm not really a fan of all that because it's getting all over my carpet. I'm not the one who has to vacuum. My job is laundry, but still, I feel bad for whoever has to vacuum. But yeah, so this is my sweater. You'll see more about it in a future video. Okay, sweater. Crochet blanket. Oh, I'm making a crochet baby blanket. I was like, what's crochet blanket? I don't even remember my own notes or my own projects, really. So this is an AC Moore bag, by the way. Too bad they went out of business because these Nicole's boutique bags were the best. I have this one and I have this one. And I use those project bags. This one's nice because it has a snap and a zipper, so your projects don't get caught on it. I had an emergency with this one. I had it in that bag and it got caught on the zipper and I had to untangle it, and it was a big snag. It didn't rip, thank goodness, but it was like a big pull. So I wove it back in and now you can't even find it. So I fixed it, but it was a heart-wrenching moment for me. So but at one point did not have a project on the needles. Can you believe it? Except for Plarn, I had Plarn, but I wanted to work on something. I wanted to crochet, so I spent a lot of time staring at my stash going, what can I make, what can I make, what can I make? I didn't want to make an amigurumi because I was just finished that zebra and I wasn't really in the mood for amigurumi, but I wanted to make something. So I decided, you know what, I'll crochet up a baby blanket with this Lion Brand's Pound of Love. So I found it in my stash after staring at it for a long time. And it's Pound of Love in pastel blue. I'm like, that'd be a cute color for a baby blanket. There's definitely enough yarn for a baby blanket there, so I'll make a baby blanket. And for the craft fair, I am using a size 5.5 millimeter hook. And this is the Crochet Stitch Dictionary by Sarah Hazel. I am using this Fan and V. And it looks like this so far. You zoom it in. Woo! My fancy zoom skills. Not really, those are my arms. Fan and V stitch. It's not blocked. Once it's blocked, it'll lay a little flatter. It's a little wavy right now, but I'm really liking it. It'd be super cute for a boy or a girl, I think. You know, blue is obviously societally a boy color, I guess, but I think either way, like, girls can totally wear blue. Like, why not, right? So it's a really cute blanket. I'm just gonna, I chained until it was about blanket width. And now I'm just knitting till it looks like a proportional rectangle. Crocheting. I'm crocheting until it looks like a proportional rectangle. You know, I'm primarily a knitter, I guess. I always have a crochet project on the hook, but I'm primarily a knitter, so all my knitting terms just are the ones I go to first in my brain. But here we go. So this is perfect. Oh, I have fuzz all over me from that sweater. Let me pile it up for you. Or is this blue from the blanket? No, that's gray from the sweater. Because I had that sweater on my lap. Let me see if I can squeegee off some fiber for you. Look at all that. It's not even all of it. Just for having it on my lap for a couple of minutes. Is it a dog or a cat? It's like a dog. But yes, so that's what I'm working on for the craft fair. I think if I have enough yarn left over, I'm gonna make a little booties and a little hat to go with it and try and sell them together. I might be able to charge more that way than I could for the items separately. Or maybe make a little teddy bear. I don't know, we'll see how much yarn I have. But a little buddy bear, like just a little, no face, no nothing, just a little bear shape with a ribbon on it. Adorbs. So, we'll see. we'll see how much yarn I have in that pound of love after I'm done with the blanket. And then we have another segment on Miss Megan Knits of designs. I am working on a gooseberry shawl that I've been talking about. I've showed you the textures, I've done all that. So if you want to see all that, look in my previous videos. But the gooseberry shawl is inspired by Gooseberry Island, a little island near me. And I went to take a walk there in January and was very inspired. So I've been researching and swatching and finding stitch patterns and counting stitches and making everything fit together and making charts and all that stuff. And it's pretty much all been a waste because it's all wrong. I did pick up some yarn I ordered from Webs. I cast on, and it is like all the instructions are a little wonky, so I'm like editing as I go, right? Taking a red pen to it, so it's in no state for anybody to see the pattern yet. Even though the pattern is technically finished, it's probably full of mistakes just like the first part was. So I'm working on that, working on the charts, working on how to write everything up and figure everything out. But it's easier when I have the project in front of me than when I have to just conceptualize it. So let me show you what I've got so far. Now, the yarn isn't what I wanted. It doesn't fit my vision. It'll work for my first run through. I'm not gonna get rid of it, but it's not what I was hoping for. What I was hoping for was something a little luxurious, a little silky maybe, or a little cashmere in it, or something like that, right? Something that'll make it drape and be beautiful. This is a very woolly wool, a Shetland wool, so it's not like that. That's not the texture it is. It's more of those durable, hard-wearing, nice and warm, kind of toothy wool. So let me show you the colors I got. I'll show you the skein, not the cake, because the skein has a label on it. Now, this labels leave a lot to be desired. They don't have a gauge on them, and they don't have a colorway name on them. But anyway, these are the BC Garn Bio Shetland. And these are the colors I got. Now, online, this one looked green. And I was hoping for green because the grasses on the island are green, right? And you have the gray rocks and the sand and the water. But this ended up being brown, and it ended up being very close brown to this gray. So I'm not entirely in love with this color palette. These three colors are spot on and rock star colors. This color, not so much. But I'm gonna work with it anyway because that's what I bought. I paid $70 for all this yarn because I got two 50-gram skeins of each. I know 100 grams of each color is like not what I need. It's way more than what I need, but I'd rather have too much, figure out what I need, and then use that number to estimate for future shawls than not have enough of a color, like run out. Especially with like the blue that goes all the way around the outside edge. Like that's gonna need more yarn, but I don't know if it'll need a whole 50 grams or if it'll need more than 50 grams or anything like that. So I bought two of each, and I figure if I don't use them for this project, I'll use them for something else. I'll probably hold them double though because they're very thin. They're very light fingering. They're in the fingering section. They're light fingering. It's messing with the look of my shawl. But I got a gauge that I sort of liked. And my swatch, where's my swatch? I got a gauge that I sort of liked in my swatch. I think it's this way. This top one. The yarn overs show up really well without blocking even. And then this gauge looks nice. It's just not as dense as I was thinking it was going to be, so I'm afraid the stitch patterns won't look right, but I'm going to knit it up and see. Because even if I don't like the finished product, it'll help me work out the kinks in my pattern, so that way when I knit the second one, it'll be nice and breezy. I can give it to somebody else to knit, it'll be nice and easy, so that's kind of what I'm thinking. Someone commented on my last video, because I asked about test knitters, like where on earth do you find test knitters? And she's like, oh, well, you know, you can look at those test knitters group on Ravelry. I'm like, oh, I didn't know there was such a thing. I haven't gone on there yet because I've been scared, but I'm thinking of going on there to seeing if I can test knit somebody else's pattern first to kind of get a feel for how the group works and how the whole process works. You know, and kind of ask some questions, see what I can get, what kind of help I can get with it. That was a really good comment, so thank you. Helped me out a lot. And then also, what was I gonna say? Oh, I should show you the shawl. Whoops, whoops, whoops. Come on. There we go. This is it so far. These green markers are my right side, so actually you're looking at it backwards. Hard to tell with everything kind of loose where the stitches are, what they look like. So this is the center spine right here, and in the middle of these two little markers is my Swedish block stitch for the towers. It doesn't show up very well. I'm not thrilled with it, probably because everything's so loose. I could knit on a smaller needle, but then the whole shawl would get really small, so I think I'm going to knit this one on this needle and then get the same gauge with a thicker yarn and see what happens. To try and perfect what I want the gauge to be. This would be a good practice run through for the pattern, get all the numbers correct, get everything correct. And then over here we have linen stitch, which is hard to figure out when you're expanding, right? Linen stitch is simple when you're just in a back and forth in a rectangle. But when you're getting in a triangle, it becomes more difficult. And the chart for that was completely wrong because I miscalculated where the increases happened exactly. So yeah, so that was fun. So I'm gonna have to work with that some more. I'll show you my charts, and they're my Knit Picks Chart Keeper. I'll show you some of the charts I'm working with right now. Hand-drawn charts. This one's wrong, I've crossed it out. This one's more correct, but I've got to simplify it down. This one's gonna be wrong, because I did the increases wrong. Because I was thinking it would get bigger on row 3, but it doesn't get bigger on row 3. It gets bigger on row 2, and then, or it is bigger on row 2, and then it's bigger again. And it's the same on row 3, and it's bigger again on row 4. So I just miscalculated where my biggering happened. No biggie, now that it's in front of me, I can just rewrite all my charts. Well, not all of them, because the ones in the center spine work just fine. Yeah, so I've got red pen all over my pattern. Oh, I forgot to mention the colorways of the yarn. Now again, there's no colorway name on the label, so I don't know which is which, but my Webs receipt has the answer for me. So I know one of them is Flannel Gray, Sheep Nougat, Sapphire, and Pebble. No. Which one's Flannel Gray and which one's Pebble? This one's Sapphire. Flannel Gray is probably this one. And then Pebble, and then Sheep Nougat. Yeah, probably. But I don't know that for sure, because I know I ordered those 4 colors, so those 4 colors are those names, but I don't know which is which. They had pretty low stock on Webs when I ordered, and this yarn was very affordable, which is why I bought it, because I'm a college student on a budget. But I don't know, I'm not thrilled with the yarn. It's not what I envisioned for my shawl, but it'll work to knit up the test, and then I'll try it in a different yarn, and maybe I'll like this one better, you never know. So anyway, that's an update on my gooseberry shawl. I finally cast it on. I've been too chicken to cast it on, been too chicken to order yarn. We went to every local yarn shop in the area before everything closed down, and you know, my mom is balking at all the prices. It's like, no, you don't understand. These are nice yarns. You know, we're not at Michael's anymore. You know, we're not in Kansas anymore, right? So, I don't know. There was some shibui that looked really nice, but also not something that I can work with right now. My dad suggested I use my craft fair to kind of fund the craft, right? So, like, I talked about in a previous episode, I think, about Red Heart Hygge and how I wanted a granny square blanket out of it. And it would just be way too much money to do the whole thing, to buy it all, because it is kind of a pricey yarn for a economical brand yarn. And he was like, well, if you do the craft fair, you make $120. Then you have enough for the blanket. I was like, oh yeah. You know what I mean? If I just take the money I make and funnel it back to crafting, you know, that would help offset some of the costs of this hobby. And I'd get to make some cool stuff. So that'd be pretty cool. But anyway. Is that all? That's all I have in my notes. I hope everybody stays safe. I'm going to remind you of my social medias again, in case you missed it. MissMeganKnits@gmail.com. Ravelry is 321TIKA. Tika was my first dog's name, so that's where that came from. I have a Pinterest, Miss Megan Knits, and I have an Instagram, Miss Megan Knits. Follow me on either, any, all of those socials. You can totally friend me on Ravelry, by the way. I've noticed I've been getting more friend requests. I'm not sure if that's any of you guys, but if it is, thank you. I'd love to be your friend. If you want to friend me, you can totally friend me on Ravelry. Check out what I've been up to. Sometimes I go check out what you've been up to. Thinking about it, is that it? Is that it? Is that it? I guess I should make a Facebook page for Miss Megan Knits if I have all these other socials, but I'll see. You know, I just made 2 of them today. I don't want to make another one today and then try and keep track of everything all at once, so. Plus Facebook is just flooded with negativity these days and false science and stuff, so I don't really want to be on there, if that makes any sense. Instagram too, but I follow mostly yarn pages on Instagram, so it's more like, oh, here's what we're doing while we're quarantined, which is great. I like to see that. But yeah. Alright, thank you so much for watching. My name is Megan. This has been Miss Megan Knits. Links to everything I talked about in the description box below. And I will see you probably sometime next week, actually, for my sweater video. But my next podcast will be in 2 weeks or so, depending on what the situation is here. I will see you soon. Bye!